Hello, 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 Black community. Keyshawn Graves here. It is December 13th, and this is our last mastermind of the year. I'm super excited because as we talk about 2018, and we'll talk about 2017 for sure. 2017 is not done, but as we talk about 2018, I'm a huge proponent of having a vision and knowing the actions to reach the vision. I should trademark this phrase, but Vaction. I know a lot of people were saying that I saw vacation. No, you saw Vaction. I loathe vision boards. I call my vision boards Vaction boards because it is a vision plus action. You can have vision all day, but if there's no action behind the vision, that's all it's going to be is a vision out there. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How do we set that vision? How do we create this mission? How do we collectively come up with the strategies necessary in order to reach your desire? So that's what we're going to talk about today. It is a mastermind. I'm going to talk a lot, but this is going to be an open discussion. So feel free to stop me, chime in, give your thoughts. I don't know it all. That's what makes us better as a community. The fact that we have everyone here to add in their input, add in their expertise. So please stop me. Please don't allow me to be the only person who's talking today. I'm going to go ahead and mute a couple people. All right, so we are recording the call for anyone who is listening. And for my people who are on, you guys know me. I'm going to start off by saying it is Wednesday. So this is the end of the business week. If you have goals that have not been met, of course, I want you to be on live. I need you to be on live. But if you have business goals that have not been met, one of the hard decisions that we have to make as entrepreneurs are what are the things that we should be present at and what are the things that we can listen to later on. This is one of those things that it's being recorded. It will be posted. And if you do have goals that have not been met by tomorrow, I hope that you receive this in love, but go ahead and excuse yourself and go get your work done. Go run through your finish line tonight that ends tomorrow on the new bonus week. So if you're listening to the playback and you haven't finished your to-do list, you haven't finished your business goals, stop, press pause, and go finish that. That is what's most important. And this call will be forever in existence. All right. So off of my high horse, a couple announcements before we get into our Vaction casting, our vision casting. Congratulations to my people who have already earned the Diamond Bonus promotion. They've already locked in Success Club this month for the past 2 months in addition to this month, and they've held the diamond for 6 weeks this quarter already. Awesome job. Congrats to my people who have locked in the Star Diamond bonus. Also, to my people who have locked in or met all the qualifications for Premier or Elite or New Leader Conference. If you have qualified for New Leader Conference, be sure that you get registered. Registration ends January 8th. If you're still working to earn your free hotel room, go ahead and register anyway, and then continue to work this year for that hotel room. So congratulations to all those people. Also, we just launched a new site. Hopefully you guys have seen it, love it. We got the share cart option. I think that it's very interactive. It's much more aesthetically pleasing. It's kind of like Amazon where it allows like, hey, people who bought this also tried this. It kind of gives some suggestions that makes the I won't say upsell, but the opportunity to help people achieve their goals more holistically. It makes that a little bit easier for you guys. So hopefully you love that. I did see Kanisha's post, so I'm happy that you like the share cart. Y'all use that. Also, Super Saturday is coming up. It's on January 6th. Guys, leaders are born at Super Saturday events, at live events. So don't just think it's another little thing. Invite your prospects to it. Allow that to be a day where you get together with your team. You get together with people who are like-minded, who are on similar missions, and really get to an event near you. If there's not an event near you, then you can host one in your house. You know, maybe it's one where you invite a couple local coaches and your prospects too, and allow that to be an opportunity for them to meet you, to get to know, trust you, the community, have some fun outside of just what we do business-wise, but have some fun. So if there aren't any events near you, then I encourage you guys to host one. And you have until January 2nd in order to commit to hosting one. Let's see if I have any other announcements. Okay, big announcement coming up. Y'all, game changer, game changer, game changer. Tomorrow we are launching our 80-day obsession accessory packs. Woo, guys. Game-changing launch that's about to happen starting tomorrow. So hopefully you've gotten some commitments. If you haven't listened to our previous Zoom call, it was our most recent one. We talked about the obsession accessory packs. We broke them down. We talked about how to figure out your customer segments, what to say. You all came up with some brilliant ideas in order to get people involved and excited right now. So here we go. It starts tomorrow. And just so you know, this just in, hot off the press. So for our coaches, and again, this is hot off the press. It's not an FAQ as of yet. So for our coaches, as of right now, we have 2 packs available. You guys know what those are? That's anybody?
The mega pack is also for coaches. Yeah.
Yep. The mega accessory pack, that's the performance bundle. And then we also have the accessory pack, which really is just the accessories. So I want you guys to know. Now, let me preface this by saying, if you have people committed to the mega pack, you keep them committed to the mega pack. But if you have people who are committed to the accessory pack, or maybe that's you, I encourage you guys to now commit to this mid-range pack that we will also offer. This mid-range pack, which has no name as of yet, this is hot off the press, will be your 1 energized tub and 1 recovery tub, as well as the accessories. So instead of the 4 and 2, it'll be 1 and 1, just like we do for the customers and for new coaches, new customers, and current BOD subscribers. So there you go, hot off the press. Again, if you are leading with the mega pack, continue to lead with that. But if you have people who are saying, oh, I don't know, I'm just going to do the accessory, this is now something that they can try that is mid-range. So all the details, all of that will be figured out. It will be added to the FAQ. It will be added to the guides that are in the training section of the back office. But I wanted my group, my community to know first and foremost that is what's going to happen. So here we go. I think that this is really going to be a game changer. Get good with this, because I think that this is the future of program launches for Team Beachbody. Whew, any questions, comments, concerns so far before we hop into our call?
With the mid-range pack, would the coaches still be able to be added to the coach-only test group?
Correct. So for the coach-only test group, any pack will get you access to that. And if you have a customer who purchases a pack and before January 14th upgrades to a coach, the pack that they purchase will gain them access to the coach-only test group also. So you can use that as a golden egg opportunity for your customers who are on the edge too. Great question. Any other questions, y'all? No. Any other thoughts? Okay, well then let's jump in. Today we're talking Vaction casting, vision plus action. And so this is an exercise that I came up with that I think will allow you to reflect on the current year and plan for the upcoming year, plan for 2018. Like I said in the post, where there's no vision, there's no hope. And so it's great to start off the year with a vision, but also I want you guys to know that as we create this vision, or as we begin to think about the vision, it's definitely okay to revise your vision and to evaluate your vision throughout the year. A vision, like I mentioned, cannot be accomplished without action. And so that's why this call today is about Vaction. Vision plus action. So this particular call, this exercise is for anyone. And it's definitely for us, for you to share with your teams. You know, it's important that you and your teams are on one accord as we go into 2018. So don't let this just be something that you do yourself. If you think it's helpful for you, make sure you pass it on to your team. If nothing else, at least the vision that you have for your team. It's going to be a really great base to begin thinking how you, the team, can accomplish some of those things that you have in mind. So I want you guys to know that while this is an exercise that I created, I did not just think about them on my own. I used several books to help me come up with this exercise. The books that I use are Think and Grow Rich, write it down, make it happen, knowing what you want and getting it. Let me repeat that book really quick because it's a very long title. It's called Write It Down, Make It Happen, Knowing What You Want and Getting It. And lastly, the book that I use is 12-Week Year. So a lot of these things we're going to be thinking about in 12-week increments. So just know that while I created it, it's not all my mind. I got them from those 3 books. So if you want to pick up those books yourself, I really strongly suggest it, especially Think and Grow Rich. It's a hard read, but guys, it was a game-changing book for me personally. So going into it, mission statements and visions, I think, are often confused, but they can definitely be put together, and they are often put together. Your mission statement is basically your formal summary of your values and what you want to reach. Your vision is your desired position, your desired future position. And so those definitions alone that I got from Webster, it's probably why they're often confused and put together. But the thing is that if you don't have one, that is what this exercise tonight is for. So we'll discuss, in addition to that vision and that creation of that, and I'll probably use vision and mission interchangeably in this conversation. Let me put myself on spotlight really quick because Nina got on me last time. I love Nina. She's awesome. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to put myself in spotlight since people are going to be listening to the playback. That way it doesn't give them, what did she call? I forgot what she called it, but she said people getting motion sickness. But we're also going to talk about the plan of action necessary. So that's when we're going to be masterminding together. And we're going to discuss if you have some loopholes or some questions about how can we plan to attack the vision that you have in your mind. That's when this community comes into play. Okay, so we're going to go through 3 different phases. And I always like to talk about goals threefold. I like to talk about joy goals first and foremost. What roots you in joy, what brings you joy, what keeps you smiling, keeps you up. So talking about joy goals, for me, something that brings me ultimate joy, that keeps me and some of these goals may intertwine, and that's okay. They may overlap. But for me, one of those is community service. I know that I must put at least 2 community service events on my calendar every month. It's a goal that I have for myself. Why? Because it roots me in humbleness. It allows me to have a vision for what I want to achieve in order to be able to help more people. So that's my own personal joy goals. I encourage you, one of them, I encourage you guys to make sure that as we talk about goals and as you do this exercise to even come back and talk about these 3 ways that I particularly look at goals. So the first is joy goals. The second are your personal goals. Your personal goals. Personally, what do you want? Is that to be able to buy Christmas in cash if you celebrate Christmas? Is that to be able to put your child in private school? Is that to be able to buy the Nikes that are maybe outside of your what you want to pay? You know, those personal goals, and they can be anything. And your Beachbody goals. So for the purposes of what I'm here for, we're going to be talking about Beachbody goals tonight. But like I said, as we talk about these 3 phases that we're going to go through, I encourage you guys to come back and do this exercise threefold. So for your joy goals, your personal goals, your Beachbody goals. And of course, they can definitely overlap. So I don't want you to think that they have to be mutually exclusive, but just know that I think that goals should be looked at threefold. And that's how we stay having fun, and especially as we're grinding hard to reach these visions and these desires. So like I said, we're going to be focusing on Beachbody goals today. And I like to particularly, personally, plan goals in quarter increments. We'll call them 12-week increments. The book calls them 12-week years, thinking about the end of the year in 12 weeks. And then I even break it down further into month goals based on that quarter. So I start with the year goal, maybe, then I reverse engineer that into quarters, or I just set a first quarter goal and reverse engineer that first quarter goal into monthly goals. Am I making sense so far? Anybody got any questions? Okay, so keep that in mind. Phase 1. First question. And some of these questions are going to be are going to take time to think about. So I don't want you to think that you have to have the answer right now, but I want you to write them down and really use this exercise to come up with your vision. Some of these questions we are going to discuss out loud. So first question, what do you want? What is it that you want to achieve? And again, you can be as audacious as you want, but I definitely recommend these realistic goals being by the end of March, being by the end of quarter 1 of 2018. So what do you want? What is it that you want to achieve? The second question is, what do you want to do with it? What do you want to do with that desire? What do you want to do with the achievements of that desire? So this is basically your why. What does it mean to you? Those are kind of extra questions, but the main question is, what do you want to do with it? And so the third question then is, when do you want to do it by? And this it can be many it's. It doesn't have to be just one thing. It can be what you need that is attainable and realistic and not overwhelming. Because sometimes, personal, I will put so many goals on that it's like, well, shoot, now I'm doing everything and nothing's really getting accomplished. So you can make that as many it's as you want, as many goals as you want. Just make sure that it is something that is realistic for you to be able to obtain. So then when you've answered those 3 questions, put them together, write it out in a statement. This is what I want to accomplish, the reason why, and this is when I want to do it by. Write it all out. And that right there is the beginning of your vision, is the beginning of your mission. And you'll want to keep that somewhere visible. For me, it's on my screenshot of my phone. I have it on Post-it notes when I brush my teeth, on my mirror, and I'm always actively looking at it. So this is the part where we get to, did I hear somebody say something? Okay. This is the part that we can begin to kind of talk. Would anybody like to share a goal that maybe they have already been thinking about by the end of first quarter? Maybe there is something in that you're not quite sure how to obtain. This is the part where when you do this with your team, when you do this with yourself, you begin to plan the action. You begin to identify the person who will hold you accountable. Anybody want to share?
Hi.
Hey.
I come from athletic training background, personal training background. And when I was in college, I knew this, I had to do like 1,500 hours of physical therapy stuff for my degree and all that stuff in school. And there was this guy who was a PT at the clinic that I worked at. And it was about 5 of us that did our hours under him. I remained friends with him over the years. He actually has 21 clinics, and he's very much into wellness and health. And I recently put the option or the idea of his business or his clinic signing up as a coach, because I realized that businesses, doctors' offices, clinics and stuff, they can do that. And he loved the idea. And I have 3 of the guys that I did my hours with years ago when we were in college. They still work with him and they're partners in his business now. And I have an opportunity to do a full presentation with him and the other board members of his business. And it would be amazing to get him and those 21 clinics as coaches underneath me. And he still remembers who I am from since I was in college. And we had a really good talk on the phone. And he's like, I'm sold. You just have to be able to schmooze my other partners. He's like, because last time you chatted with me, I only had 3 clinics. Now I have 21. So that would be, I would fall out. So that's what I would love to happen within the first quarter of the year, if not by January.
Yes. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And you're all set with your presentation. You know what you're going to do.
Yes, I have my PowerPoint. Now I have to change the challenge packs because I have it all set up where, I talked about, because for him, I'm really just going to focus on the actual Shakeology and the performance because, they do therapy for athletes. I'm living in New York City. He has company with the Brooklyn Cyclones team. He is the physical therapy place that deals with the police fire department, their football team. And so it's a huge, huge deal if things work out with him. And it will also it'll just give me that credibility as well and that confidence too. Because I have spoken to other facilities and stuff, but what I love is that I already have a relationship with him and he's known me for over 20 years.
Wow.
So I already have my PowerPoint. I need to update it now that we have these new packages coming out, but I've rehearsed that speech so much.
Okay. Well, you keep us posted on that, and then we would love to maybe even get you on and leading one of these masterminds, and just in case other people have some of the similar opportunities as you, and we can learn from you. So you go, Alicia. Yes.
Thank you, Keisha. Thank you.
Anybody else want to share or have a question?
I always have something to say. I think that's awesome, Alicia. And also, don't sleep on Tai Chi. My chiropractor, I try to make them understand, or at least see, and the way Tai Chi is broken down as far as using the myo roller, as far as stretching, posture, balance. These little short programs that the doctor put in Tai Chi are really perfect for their patients, for home therapy. The instructions, everything is excellent. You can go all day in a PT lab with Tai Chi alone. It's an excellent program, and I love that. So if you have time, if they seem interested in the fitness program, because leading with Shakeology is awesome by itself, but if that is one thing, the segmented way they break down Tai Chi is excellent for the clinic. So I hope that helps you. For me, you guys, my goal is always to grow. I feel weird because anytime they keep saying, I've been writing my goals and doing the vision board and everything, and I'm always like, bro, I want to be diamond. I want to be star diamond. I want to be, that's all I think about. So because I took Brian Moran, did a 12-week year course with Beachbody Coaches, and to reverse engineering that, the only problem I have is that he always says, don't put what others have to do to be part of you. So if I'm like, I want to be star diamond, whatever, you can't make anybody else do those things. So what can you do that's only involving you to reach those growth goals that I have as far as business? So that's my only semi-question statement.
Okay. Anybody have any thoughts on that? I do, but I'm going to open up the floor. No? Okay. So I would say that as he's talking about controlling the controllable, a few things that you can control is your own personal recruitment, is your own attraction marketing, is your own inviting publicly as well as privately, and being very descriptive in who you're looking for in those. What you can control are your sponsored ads. I know Joyelle is doing an amazing job at her sponsored ads. I see them, I'm like, oh, that was so good. So maybe we have her talk about some of those sponsored ads in 2018 in the future, so we can learn from her and from other people who are having success with that. But those are some of the things that you can control, and the numbers of those, and 10xing them. And I posted in the Black community, I posted this run, walker, jogger tracker. And I want to just hit on that really quick, because as we're talking about 10xing and as we're talking about controlling the controllable, one, those are great tracker systems to know what to do. But two, those are great tracking systems to keep going. The objective is to be consistent, right? But you don't have to be consistently running or walking. You can, for 2 weeks, be running, and then the next week be jogging. And then maybe the next week you have to walk because you're on vacation. But then you come back and you're running for 2 weeks, especially since you are doing this part-time. And so another thing that you can control is your consistency of it as you're 10Xing, and making sure that you're doing what's necessary every day. And you're doing the activities first and foremost that will progress your business forward. So just kind of off the top of my head, without really knowing the ins and outs of your business and some of the nitty gritty details of what we can do, those are the things that you can control. And that's what I think he's talking about. Okay. All right, well, if no one else, let's move on to phase 2. And phase 2 actually piggybacks right off of Dr. Payne, and that is the action or actions necessary to reach your goals. So this is phase 2. So the first question is, what are the small goals or actions along the way? I'm gonna I guess pick, I don't like that word, pick on Dr. Payne just a little bit because she knows I love her. And that is, she said, my goal is to grow. Yes, our goal is to grow, but by how much? By when? What does that mean? What does that look like? What are the small goals in between? And she did say diamond, she did say star diamond, but what are the small goals necessary? Let's enroll 4 coaches and 2 emeralds. Let's enroll 2 coaches and get one of those and help one of those earn emeralds. You know, let's figure out some small goals along the way as we are in pursuit of this bigger vision or these bigger goals over the quarter. So for my people who are just hopping on, we're talking about Vaction, and we're talking about these visions or these goals in 12-week or quarter increments. So phase 2, what are the small goals? It's first question. What are the actions necessary along the way to reach that bigger goal? The second question then is, what or who do you need? And what do you need to know in order to reach your desires? What, who do you need, and what do you need to know in order to reach your desires? Maybe I'm saying social media and I'm saying sponsored ads, and you're like, well, I don't know that. Well, I've been saying that this particular season is grind season, and so we're working with what we know right now, but come 2018, it's going to be a new season. It's going to be a new opportunity for us to get back into some of those trainings and figure out what it is that we need to know in order to reach the goal, in order to continue to control the controllable in what we are putting out. Maybe it's social media altogether. Maybe you know you need to get on Instagram. You need to get on Instagram. I'm just saying it. And so if you don't know Instagram, don't allow these to be excuses. 2018, first quarter, that's the time. In addition to it's still grind time, because that's the season, right? People are going to be looking for you. They know that you've been doing it. They see your workouts every day. They see the people that you're helping. So it is still grind time, but it is our opportunity to learn also. So go back and know, what do you need? Who do you need? And what do you need to know in order to reach your desires? That's the second question. The third question, any questions right now? Any comments, concerns? Am I off? Y'all tell me if I'm off. Would y'all tell me if I was off? Okay. So then the third question is, how much time, and you can think about this daily or weekly, you can think about this however makes the most sense for you, but how much time are you willing to give to what is needed, to what you need in order to reach those goals? This is very important, because we need to be realistic. And this is when that success partner and that accountability that we've already talked about in phase 1, this is when that really comes in handy. You talk to that person, you talk to your upline. Hey, this is what I want. This is what I can give to pursuing this. What do you think? Let's brainstorm this. Maybe they don't know, but we can kind of figure out, if you're saying, you know, I want to make 6 figures and you're willing to give an hour. I don't know how realistic that is for a year. I'm just saying. Okay, so how much time are you willing to give to what is needed to be done? And then from that, begin to craft your to-do list. The thing is with to-do lists is that there are 503 million. Okay, I'm exaggerating a lot. I'm being super dramatic. But there are so many different variations of to-do list. And so it can be very overwhelming. So you take bits and pieces and then you make it make sense for you. Now, this does not have to be your to-do list for the year or even the quarter, even over the 12 weeks that we're working to reach this goal. It doesn't have to be your to-do list over the first month of January, but it's very important to go into 2018 knowing what the to-do list is, knowing where we need to start, because what I personally hear just as a coach, business development mentor, is the reason why most people don't reach their goals is because they don't know where to start. They don't know the order to do it in. And I would recommend that you put your list in order of action, business producing actions and activities first and foremost, and perhaps some of the things that you don't like to do but know is going to grow you. And then also probably the third thing would be they had too much on their to-do list, and so it overwhelmed them. So keep all those things in mind and then come up with one that makes sense for you. If you're working this part-time, then make it make sense for you. If you're working this not only around part-time, but around kids and you got a baby on the way, cute, you make it make sense for you. And that's when you're doing all those different things, that's when it is so important to really have that to-do list in order of when it needs to be done. That way you're not just like, oh, I'm going to do this one first, I'm going to do this one second. And then we done 20 minutes trying to figure out what we're going to do first. And that could have been 10 invites. Okay? So craft your to-do list, put it in order, and you can take bits and pieces from other people. This is not to reinvent the wheel. This is just to make it make sense for you. Any questions, comments, concerns? No? Okay.
Keyshawn, I got a question. Can
Yes,
you hear
ma'am.
me? Hey. Okay, about the small goals. My issue is wasting my time on people that don't give me the right energy back. How to find the right people, because everybody is not going to want to do this, right? So you got to figure out which people are the people to keep talking to and which people are the people that you follow up monthly. That's where I'm going back and forth with.
Okay. Anybody have any experience with this? I see a couple smiles before I share my little tip.
Hi, Deidre, right?
It's Dedra. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody do it. You good.
One of the things that I started doing, is I do a lot of voice messages. Mm-hmm. And I would always ask if they could hear my voice, and I would post on their page as well, letting them know that there's a message there. Another thing that I do is if I don't hear back from someone or they say that they are interested but it's still dead, I tend to do hey, you're busy. I know life happens. Things are happening. I haven't heard back from you. You said you were interested. When is a good time for me to follow up with you? When is a good time for me to check back to you? Because, I'm the type of person that would say, look, girl, I don't want to be a pain in your butt, but this is what you said to me last month. Would it be okay if I followed with you January 5th? Is that perfect for you? What time of day is best for you? Because I know you have kids, depending on who the person is. So I do the voice messaging that way, and I would always ask them when is a good time for me to follow up with them, or I would say to them, is this the right timing for you? Let me know it's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings if it's not, or, so I tend to do messages, but voice messages like that a lot. So they hear my voice, they hear my sincerity or excitement. So that helps. And most of the time when you give people that option to kind of choose the time to talk to them or message them, they tend to respond. And so that's one of the things that I do.
Yes, I also do voice message, and I've been following up. And I know things happen, life, but I'm just trying to make sure that I'm still keeping in contact, the most contact with the people that I'm sure about that will eventually join, and then follow up monthly with those that are just looking. So I'm trying to dissect that to know which people those are. So right now I don't, so I just do everybody. And I do voice messages. I did 30 yesterday, and I have got responses back, but as far as keeping it going, it's kind of gray.
Okay, that was good feedback, Alicia. Anybody else before I kind of share some of my tidbits?
Okay.
My thoughts. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking, but let me put myself back on the spotlight. So my first question, Dedra, am I saying it right? I'm sorry.
Yep, you're saying it right.
My first question would be, what are they doing to show you they're not worth your time, quote unquote, right? So that's my first question, because what does that mean? And is there anything that we can do to maybe prevent that or set better expectations? So that's my first question to you.
Okay, so the books I have been reading, it says, when you put a presentation out there or a post, you're trying to find your tribe or the people that can relate to you. They relate to me and they conversate, and I conversate, not even about the business, but it's like we have this ongoing, I'm going to do it, and then the next month comes, and then I'm there. I even ask about the date. They give me the date. I follow up, and it's always something. So we're like month 6, and they're still like coming up. I'm not going to say excuses, but I'm still following up with them regardless, feeling like they're going to sign even if they don't. But it's just like, when do I say, okay, like, when do I send a message saying, okay, I can tell that you're busy, I don't want to be a burden, but you let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
That one.
So I know that we've all heard mixed things when it comes to this. And one thing that I've heard just from a lot of people that I'm working with is you never take them off your list. Why? Because, and this doesn't mean that you spend all the time on them, but 1, because people aren't on Facebook like we are. 2, because nowadays on Facebook, there are, everybody is trying to sell somebody. So it's like, who is real? Who is genuine? And so maybe instead of just shooing them off, maybe it's, let's invite them to this free group. Let's add some value. Hey, I thought about you as I was sharing this recipe in my group and wanted you to have it because I know that you like broccoli and cheese, but this is a healthier way to eat broccoli and cheese. And so continuing to add value in those conversations. Also, just and straight up, like, hey, I sent you, or maybe getting their email addresses, and hey, I sent you over a link. I know that you said that you were going to be able to join the group after your car note was paid. The group is starting on Monday, so I just sent you your cart with everything that you need in it. So all you need to do is put your payment information in, and I'll message you tomorrow. Now, if they're still not doing it, then it's like, okay, girl, well, hey, I'm here for you, and I'm going to be doing this forever. And so if the time is not right now, I just want you to know I'm going to message you. I'm going to continue to talk to you because we're friends now. But I'm going to message you in a month or in a couple of weeks and let you know when my next one starts. Because that shows that you're not letting them go. Why? Because my coaches have experienced that person that they didn't let go after 6 months, after a year. They became a coach. And they not only became a coach, but they became a working coach. They never will stop following you. They will never, they're not unfriending you. They will never stop accepting those messages, even if they're not responding back. So you continue to add value. Again, I'm going to go back to, don't waste time on them, but those are still people in your pipeline. Bonnie Engel once said, I never take people off their list unless they say, Bonnie, I hate you. I hope you die. Take me off your list. I mean, it is that for real. So they always stay on your list. We just got a little comment from DeLorean. DeLorean said, I completely agree, Keyshawn. Just keep checking in and keep doing you. They will join when they're ready. You know what? I always talk about, that's so true. I always talk about taking the leap of faith. If you guys have heard me share that story again before, but for me, my leap of faith literally was when I jumped out of the airplane. And I'm gonna bring it back, y'all, I promise. But when I jumped out the airplane, I legitimately couldn't breathe. I mean, I couldn't breathe. I wanted to love it so much. Like, I wanted to love it. I was here in Utah. I was over the mountains. I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. And the guy who I was attached to, he kept saying thumbs up, thumbs medium, thumbs down. And I was like, medium, medium, medium. And I was like, okay, I cannot die up here in the air. Thumbs down, take me to air, or take me to land. And so that's when he released parachute and I could breathe again. So the moral of that story that I promise makes sense is just because they make the decision to jump doesn't mean it becomes easier. And so it's up to us to keep on thumbs up. It's up to us to continue to ask them. So when they are ready, we're their parachute and we'll help them get to where they need to go safely. So just know that because we made it, I mean, how long did it take you to finally commit? How long?
A year.
A year.
Mm-hmm.
So give people the grace that you gave yourself. Oh, that was good. Give people the grace that you gave yourself.
That was excellent. Keyshawn, can I also say what I've been doing since the share a cart, which is beautiful, by the way. I know that some of my mobile links out there are not going to work, so I've been dusting off people that I don't know what more to say to them, just like you just got finished saying. So I've been saying, oh, that link is not going to work anymore because the site is better. And if you want to go over challenge packs again, we still have some nice ones. And here's a new link, or share that it took you a year. And I tell people that, when I'm trying to tell them how much a challenge pack costs, and I'll say, you know what, you can do it like me the hard way. I brought this size by itself. I brought Shakeology by itself. Then I became a coach and paid a fee. And then I brought another challenge pack. You can do that if you want, but I'm recommending that you take this route because I wish I had. And so you can, just dust off some of your old stories that they didn't hear, and especially share about the share a cart, because your old mobile links don't work. And you do need to admit, is that still a good email address? I got so many email addresses, you guys. I lose stuff that's super important to me. So it could be that the person also that's a bad email for them.
That's good. Kimberly said that's good too. That's good. Good input. So is that a few things that you can take away from this? Okay. All right. So going back to phase 2, and this is before I move to this 5th question in phase 2, as we're talking about your to-do list, make sure that you take some time to evaluate that to-do list. Like I said at the beginning, this doesn't have to be your forever to-do list in the year, even in the quarter, or even in the month. But take time to evaluate it. 1, are you doing it? And if you're not, then check yourself. And 2, are those things on your to-do list getting you to the attainment of your desire? Is that getting you to what your vision is? Is that getting you to your goals? Is that getting your team to where they need to be? So take some time to evaluate that to-do list often. All right. So then the 5th question in phase 1, phase 2, this is the last question in phase 2, is do your actions match your goals? Do the actions match your goals? And this kind of piggybacks off the last question. If they do, keep going. Whoop, whoop. If they don't, revise something. And hopefully it is the action and not the goals itself. All right. So a few points just to note in that is that you guys aren't in this alone. You don't have to reinvent trainings. Beachbody does a really great job of coming up with trainings. Kim Carver has over 30 years experience in this. He is our executive director of field development. He comes up with all the trainings, all the PowerPoints. You can use those. Yes, make them your own. Do all that. Make them your team so that your team can use them. If your team has something, use that. You don't have to do this alone, especially if you're doing this part-time. You don't have to do opportunity calls by yourself. You don't have to do sneak peeks or backstage passes or whatever you decide to call them. Even as the leader, that is what your team is for. And especially when you have a team of like-minded people who have similar missions, that's what the team is for. And I'm definitely not saying to be taken advantage of in it. And I'm not saying to take advantage of other people, but it is a great way to continue to perpetuate your vision of community, which I'm sure you have for yourself in that team that you're creating, and to continue to perpetuate the idea of community and the reason why you joined Team Beachbody with your own sponsor. So do it as a team. Run your challenge groups together. Have that landing page together. Have a team landing page. Have the Google form that's a team Google form if that's what you guys do. I think that especially with so many of us doing this so many coaches doing this part-time, that is the way that you succeed. Knowing that you do not have to do this alone. As we're talking about these actions, as we're talking about the small goals, you don't have to do it by yourself. Yeah, there's some things that are you, and there's some things that you'll have to make yours, but you don't have to reinvent stuff. So lean on your team, lean on this community, lean on your personal team. So another thing to note is as you're getting your plan of action down, know who you are talking to. So there are tons of trainings out there. I've heard it called your niche. I've heard it called your avatar. I'm sure you've heard it called different things, but essentially this is the person you were before your breakthrough or before the decision that you made and after you stopped making excuses. So you want to talk to that person, and you want to be descriptive when inviting these type of people. I'm looking for people who love their 9 to 5, but also want to make some additional income to be able to pay for karate lessons and pay for cheerleading and piano lessons, and who enjoy champagne and whatever. Okay, that's off the top of my head. But you want to be descriptive, and you know somebody, I keep on picking on her because I just love her so much, but Joyelle is really good at that. And I'm sure some of you guys else are, but for some reason hers just keep on popping up on mine, so I see hers more often. So she's really good. I think I will have to beg her to do, and I'm sure I won't have to beg her, but I think I'm going to have to ask her to do a training on that in the future in 2018. So know who you're talking to. That's very important. If you're talking to everybody, you're not talking to anybody. So know who you're talking to. And it doesn't have to be this long, robust training that I've seen out there in regards to your avatar, in regards to your niche. It basically is you before the breakthrough, or you before you make the decision to start, and after you stopped making excuses. Why do we do after you stop making excuses? Because if you do before you started, when you were still making excuses, you're going to continue to attract those people who make excuses. So we want to talk often about how, yes, I was making excuses, but this is what got me to the point where I was of no return. When I stopped making the excuses, when I said, you know what, enough is enough. I deserve better. Let me see if she's on, because I've seen some people do really well with that. Okay, no, she's not on. Okay. So then the third and final phase is letting go in order to move forward. So I don't know, a lot of you guys might know that I'm a hiker. I love hiking. I do like extreme hikes, 12 miles, 15 miles, 20 miles, whoop, whoop, whoop. And as a hiker, or just really even as an outdoorsy person, I find that I do this even when I'm skiing. I often liken whatever I'm doing to life. Like, oh, I'm about to go down this blue, which is like an intermediate type of run for skiing. And if I can do this and I'm so scared, then I know I can do XYZ in life that is so scary. Or, oh, I'm about to do this steep mountain that I have to literally propel myself up a rope in order to get to the top, and I'm scared and my mind is focused, and if I can focus like this on this, then I can focus on that thing that I really don't want to do but I know I need to do to get to the next level. Like, I'm always propelling or paralleling things to life when I'm outside, and one of my favorite seasons is the fall. And one of my favorite seasons to be outdoors and to hike is in the fall. One, because I live in Utah, so we actually have 4 seasons. We get to see the leaves change colors. And one day, I was on the top of the mountain, and I was just looking at how beautiful it was. And the trees were changing colors, and their leaves were falling. And I was like, we need to be like trees. It's going to make sense, I promise. We need to be like trees and let go of the things that are not going to take us to the next season. That's exactly what they do when they release their leaves. They get prepared for the next season by letting go. And so this third phase is, what do you need to let go of in order to move forward, in order to get to your next season? It may be you, it may be them, it may be whatever it is. But there is something that we need to let go of in order to get to that next season. So the first question in this phase 3 is to list 2 disappointments. And I recommend over the past year, but you can do it as you please, but I do recommend over the past year, list 2 disappointments and how they've helped to define you. 2 disappointments and how they've helped to define you. Then the second question is, or point, is to list 2 of your greatest achievements. And I think it's very important that those are back to back. Why? Because as we're listing the disappointments, me, myself, I'm my worst critic. I hear that often from just entrepreneurs, type A type of people who want to get it done, who have these big goals and aspirations, that you also are your worst critics. And so we can go in this downward spiral of what we did wrong and how we did it wrong and what we could have done better. So it's very important that, one, you stop at 2 disappointments. We're not talking about 5. We're not talking about 10. We're just doing 2. And then right after that, to list 2 of your greatest achievements. And again, I think that this should be in 2017, as we're talking about 2017 and closing it in order to start 2018 stronger. And then the third point is to list 2 dominating thoughts. And one of the books that I got some of these exercises from and these questions from is they talked about dominating thoughts. And I was like, ooh, that's good. And internal objections. And they were saying that we have external objections, but then we have internal objections. And those internal objections are those dominating thoughts or those limiting beliefs. You know, it's too much work, or I can't do it, or I don't look like the people reaching the success, or whatever. I'm not certified. Whatever those dominating, limiting beliefs, internal objections may be, list 2 of them. At the least, you can list a few more of those because you'll learn more why in our 4th point. But why do those thoughts control you? And what are the actions necessary to let them go? Again, this is not an exercise that I think is done in a conversation. I think that this is an exercise that you take back and you really, truly reflect on. You really think about it. Don't just let this be this conversation is done, but really take some time to understand or to think about it at least. Now, personal story. There was one thing that I had just been so fearful of myself and in my personal life. And I was like, well, let me try to figure out why I'm so scared of it. Like, what is holding me back? And then 2 weeks went by and I still wasn't doing it, trying to figure out why I wasn't doing it. So I said, you know what? I need to do it. So don't allow this particular exercise to be the thing that keeps you further from being the person that you desire because you're trying to figure out why those thoughts control you. If you can't figure it out, then let's just go do action. Let's just go work it. Let's go do it. That's how you truly overcome it, through actions. So then, as we're talking about those dominating thoughts, the 4th point is action is the most important thing necessary to overcome those dominating thoughts. But then, in my opinion, and in the opinion of some of the most successful people in the world, not even in this business, are affirmations. And I know a lot of people think that they're hokey, but if success leaves clues, then I'm going to do it. So affirm yourself. Affirm yourself. If that dominating thought is, I don't have enough money, maybe your affirmation is money comes easily and freely to me. Maybe if it's, I'm not an introverted person, and I'm kind of going off the top of my head, y'all, so don't judge me. But if it's, I'm an introverted person, maybe it's, I see love and light in every situation, and people come to me, and I have what they need. Girl, you'll make it better. And there are definitely exercises out there to affirm yourself. But affirm yourself on the other side of that limiting belief, whatever your dominating thought is. And this is a personal exercise. So if you don't do affirmations, okay, maybe you just start with 1. But do it daily. Say it daily. When you're brushing your teeth, put it right there on the mirror. My girlfriend, she's so cute. She has it printed. She has her 5 affirmations printed out, and she put it in a picture frame, and she put the picture frame in her bathroom. And so literally while she's brushing her teeth, she looks at it and reads it every day. So, do what you need to do. Don't let this just be I'm going to do this one day, or I'm going to do this the first week of January. I recommend you to truly give this some effort. See if it does change you, like the people who have said that they do it and have reached their desired level of success and are telling us that that's one thing that they did in order to reach it. Let's see if it helps you achieve some of your goals too. And so some last minute thoughts on this exercise, some last minute things that you can ask yourself or reflect on. These aren't necessarily in any of the phases. These are just some of my last minute, ooh, that was good. I should have added that in there and I didn't. So those are, what kind of impact do you want to make next year? How do you want to be remembered? What is it that you want to celebrate? What story will you tell your family about 2018 in the future? Why will this year be different? And what is it that your team will accomplish? What kind of impact do you want to make next year? How do you want to be remembered? What do you want to celebrate? What is the story that you will tell your family about 2018 in the future? Why will this year be different? And what is it that your team will accomplish? So those are the 3 phases of Vaction casting, vision plus action casting. You guys have the power to be the person you desire. Everything that you need is already within you. These are little tweaks that we need. These are ideas and thoughts and things that we need to have in front of us to know where we're going and to know how we're going to get there. But everything that you need is already within you. You are worthy, you are deserving, and you absolutely can do this. And so as I end tonight, we talked about 2018. We talked about how to start the year strong. And I just want you guys to remember, I want to remind you that 2018 absolutely starts right now. 2018 starts right now. It starts today, starts tonight, and it especially starts tomorrow with the launch of those accessory bundles with 80-Day Obsession. We've talked about them. We've talked about leveraging them. We've talked about positioning them. We've seen the transformations. We know what it can do. Guys, blow this up. So be sure that you run through your daily finish lines, this finish line that ends on January 1st, and wake up on January 1st, 2018, knowing that you could not have given 2017 a fingertip more, as you have defined what going all in means. That's not my definition. That's not Carl's definition. It's whatever you have defined going all in and running through your finish line means. But I encourage you to do that. That's how you reach your goals. So any last minute thoughts from you guys? No? Okay, well, I hope that you guys thought that this call was oh, go for it, Joyo. Oh, let me unmute you. Oh, I can't unmute you.
Okay, thanks. I was like, I don't know how to unmute this. I don't know how to unmute this. Happy 2018, y'all, because 2017 is over. Whoa. If you don't know, December is one of the most successful months for Beachbody coaches. Like, everybody's getting ready for January. So December and January are grind time. You may not see the return until January, but your nose should be to the wall right now, right? So y'all see how crazy I'm looking. I'm over here like on my computer doing everything I can, like showering barely and, getting things done and set up for 2018 because it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge for me. It's going to be huge for you guys. So 80-Day Obsession releases tomorrow. A couple of people have reached out to me because I was in the test group. So this is what I'm doing for people if you're interested. If you want to set up a live call for your customers, for your coaches, and interview someone who's had the experience of 80-Day Obsession, I will do that for you guys. Just let me know, right? So I've seen a few of those, and they go really well because people are able to ask, the questions that they want to know about the 80-day program. You guys, if you do not utilize those transformation pictures that are coming out of that group or that have come out of that test group, you're failing yourself. Like, you're totally cheating yourself. Another thing is, don't be afraid of the price points on the packages. Pay attention to how much money people are saving. And when you look at the results, you'll see that it says, this is Joyelle Hayes or whomever, and she utilized 80-Day Obsession and the performance line. There's your residual, you guys. Use that. Get people on, energized at the very least, so that you can see that coming in every month. Not only that, but it helps. Like, it really, really helps. So I just wanted you guys to know that I'm willing to help you in that manner if I can. Like, we want to reach as many people as we can with this program, not because of the physical transformations only, but it truly is a life-changing experience. 80 days is a long time to be committed to anything. Think about the last time you were committed to anything for 90 days. Anything. So I just wanted to throw that out there. It was a great call, Keyshawn. Thanks. And you guys keep pushing, keep showing up for yourselves, keep showing up for one another, because this is a movement. And if you can't see it shifting, take your sunglasses off and put your readers on because it's happening. The shift is happening, and I'm glad to see these calls growing. Continue to invite people. Like, we should be doubling this every single mastermind. But if people don't know, they don't know, right? Some of you guys first time on, but get people on these calls because we have the resources. Keyshawn's working her tail off for us. And I think it's just thank you to show up. So show up for one another, you guys. That's all I got. I know it's off task as usual, but
love it, love it, love it. No, you always bring it in, Joyelle. Thank you for all the value that you add. All right, y'all. I will get this posted in the Black community, in the Black page by 12 Mountain Time tomorrow. All right, guys. Have an amazing night. I will see you next year. This is our last mastermind of this year, so I'll see you guys next year.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, guys.